Super Monkey Ball comes bouncing back to the Nintendo Wii, this time with an all-new installment, Super Monkey Ball Step and Roll.
You have a monkey inside a bouncing ball, and it's your job to maneuver it through various obstacle courses into goals using the Wiimote. The single-player game has a bunch of unique worlds, each with their own set of unique challenges for you to try your skills at.
Or you can sync up the balance board and use your whole body to try and help your monkey get through the courses, while collecting as many bananas as possible. This proved to be quite a challenge for us, didn't it, Badge?
Yeah, and you know what it reminded me of? Back in the day before Game Boy, PSP, DS4, any of these, you'd play those annoying little travel games where you'd have to maneuver a ball through a maze into a hole, and if you remember how much unfun they were, well, this is pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. This game is frustration central. The Wii Remote with the Motion Plus is really sensitive to movement, which is great, but it actually makes it really hard to get it level enough to make your monkey just go in a straight line. Once you get the hang of it, it's okay, but some of the courses are just so unforgiving that I got frustrated with it really quickly.
Throwing the balance board into the mix makes things even more difficult. The reaction time when using your whole body is slower than using the Wiimote, and heck, I found myself, even in the early levels, losing all patience.
The courses were all quite similar too, so it's not like it had that element of variety to keep me involved. I mean, maybe this game just takes a lot of practice to master, but when the journey to mastery isn't fun, you're gonna find yourself giving up before you ever get there.
There were also some multiplayer mini-games which required the use of the Wiimote and the nunchuck, and I don't know about you, Hex, but I found for the most part they were a bit hit and miss.
Yeah, some of them were okay, like the spinning top game, which involved you having to spin your Wii Remote around vigorously to knock your opponent out of the ring, but most of them were just a bit boring.
The pinball game was stupid, and there's one where you're tilting your Wiimote backwards and forwards to knock your opponent off a platform with your bottom.
Yeah, or that red light, green light game where you had to shake your Wii Remote and nunchuck up and down like crazy just to move. I felt like they tried to take advantage of every gimmicky way to use a Wii Remote in a bunch of mini games that just weren't entertaining at all, even when pitted against friends.
So what's the verdict?
Well, if you're the kind of person who enjoys trying the same course over and over and over again to get a ball and a goal, then maybe you'll have the patience to enjoy this. But otherwise, they've created a relatively uninspired sequel just because the first game sold so well instead of creating something new and original. I'm giving it 5.5 out of 10 rubber chickens.
If you're going to get into this game, I recommend ditching the balance board altogether. You'll just have more fun without it. Over time and practice, I think it would improve your coordination, and the mini-games are fun in multiplayer, but they're just not designed well enough for any lasting appeal. I'm giving it 5 out of 10 rubber chickens.
Has been a year for remakes and remasters, and now we add another one to the mix with Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD. Whew, so that 5 times fast.
Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD.
Don't actually do it, you'll break your brain. Anyway, this game is a remake of the 7th title in the Super Monkey Ball series, which came out in 2006 for the Wii. After the alien pirate, Captain Krabuchin, steals the golden banana bunch from Ai and his friends, it's up to the group to take back what's theirs and show this alien menace the door.
And look, to their credit, their plan isn't one I think any invading force would expect. Get in a ball and roll around. You can select any of the monkey mates, each with their own set of stats, and get to tilting the putt-putt-like courses that make up the worlds to roll them around. Your goal is to make it from one end to the other as fast as you can, while collecting as many bananas as you can along the way.
It's a simple enough concept, go from point A to point B, but when I actually got down to business, it became anything but simple. While Banana Blitz HD does run smoother in handheld mode, I still felt there was a weightlessness to the ball's movements that made it really difficult to control at times, especially when it came to the more precarious courses. And if you lose all your lives, you give up your chance to earn the champion medal. So you either continue on without it or have to go all the way back to the beginning of the set.
I actually didn't have too much of a problem with the floatiness in the courses themselves, but when it came with the boss fights, it's a whole other story. To conclude each world, you'll have to go toe-to-toe with Captain Krabuchin's oversized goons. These fights usually break down to dance around enemy, wait for them to show their weakness, and destroy them with it. Again, simple enough, but I found it hard to nail those perfectly timed shots because I couldn't get a handle on the movement. It was just frustrating when a fight was dragged out because of clunky controls.
I feel like a lot of that clunkiness comes down to how the camera moves too. In a boss fight early on, you have to hit a baboon with his own missiles by pressing a glowing button on top of them. But because you don't have control of the camera on its own, it whips around to keep the enemy on screen, which makes it extra hard to focus on the incoming projectiles as you move around. If you could control the camera, or if the focus was pulled back just a little bit more so you could see more of the area, I feel like that would have felt better for the player.
Yeah, I agree. As is, it doesn't feel like I'm being challenged in a fun way. It feels more like I'm lucking out rather than getting better, and that's just not fun. It also doesn't really make me want to compete in the time attack mode, which sees you running a few select courses again, trying to get the fastest time to make it onto the leaderboard. If I didn't enjoy doing it the first time, why would I go in for seconds?
I will say though, some of the party games are a bit of a laugh, but maybe that's because they don't play the same way as the main campaign. There's 10 games to choose from, each allowing up to 4 players at once. Space Monkey Attack, not to be confused with another popular arcade space shooter, sees you and your friends piloting ships to take out waves of enemies. Dangerous Route is the closest you get to the main game, but because it's got a top-down perspective and you've got an arrow telling you where you're facing, it feels much better to play.
My personal favourite was Monkey Snowboard. It was like I was back in my living room playing the Wii as I slid down those slopes. But it did drive home for me how dated this game feels. What did you think overall, Jem?
I think if you're a fan of the original series, then Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD is probably a great throwback. But as someone new to the franchise, it only really serves to show just how far games have come since 2006 and how grateful I am that they have. So it's 2 out of 5 rubber chickens for me.
The line between challenging and frustrating is so easily crossed, and I found that I was leaning more towards the frustrating side here. And while you may be able to get some fun out of beating your personal best, there just wasn't enough here for me to want to keep playing. So I'm also giving Banana Blitz HD 2 out of 5 rubber chickens. Okay, Jem, I want to try this. Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD, 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 Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD.